and I want it, and you got it so much. I'm crazy for your touch, your touch.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be, with the high purpose to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all. We approach this problem of reemployment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Insert fare card. Sweet, we're off. Let's do this.
Kendall is ready to ride.
And here comes the boss.
Well, technically it's the health line, and she's taking it for the very first time.
We're just passing up all the cars.
Wave goodbye to traffic, Kendall.
I'm really impressed with how easy this has been. I can't say enough about it.
Right back at you, Kendall. It's easier than you think, Cleveland. Get your personal starter kit today and get ready to ride RTA.com.
Welcome to TV20's Arts and Culture feature for the production The Strangest Romance Ever. I'm Leah Haslage, and right now we're with the director of the production, Christopher Johnston.
Hello.
And with the actors of the play, Ben and Emily Zarnota. Did I say it right? So welcome you guys to TV20. First, as a director, tell us a little bit about this romance, about this play.
Well, it's a wonderful, very warm piece about Dorothy and Reuben Silver, who are great theater legends here in Cleveland. And Cal was very close to them and is still very close to Dorothy, and wrote this piece back in 2009 for an induction into the Karamu Hall of Fame for the Silvers. It was performed again about a year later at Cleveland State for a scholarship program that they had. And then we were asked to do it this year for the Theater Communications Group National Conference that was held in Cleveland this year. And we did it at Cleveland Public Theater on an opening night festival that they had. But it's very much a tribute to the Silvers.
And now you guys play the Silvers, Reuben and Dorothy. Tell us what that experience was like. First with you, Ben.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I never got to know Reuben at all, and I've probably seen Dorothy twice. I've seen her perform once, and then I caught her just something after a show and had sort of run into her. And it's interesting doing a piece that is about people that about two people that so many people knew and know, in the case of Dorothy. And we were even talking that the more we spoke with different people around Cleveland, the more we sort of got to a point of saying, well, we kind of want to be them. You know, and so we kind of get an opportunity, you know, briefly in the play, but they're just sounds like they just had a really amazing life. And we just got married, you know.
I know,
so.
this week is actually a married couple playing
So it gives
a married
us something
couple.
to shoot for, you know.
Right. I would have to kind of second what he said. They have such a reputation in this city as just big influences within the theatrical community in teaching, directing, acting, role models, mentoring, all these things, but also just as people. You never hear, they might say, you know, Reuben was gruff and strict, or, you know, something about his directing style, but it's never bad about them as people. And even though we're not trying to do impersonations of them, that wasn't the intention at all, still a little bit intimidating just because people care about them so much. So hopefully we at least capture what they represented and what they mean to a lot of people, even if we're not being them specifically. So it's been interesting, and like he said, wouldn't mind being them because they seem pretty great.
With getting in the role of Dorothy, what did you do to kind of get into that character? Did you meet with her? Did you try to find out more about her story?
Given the timing of kind of how this particular production was done, I didn't have the opportunity to meet with her specifically, but as Chris and Benjamin said, we spoke to a lot of people that know her very well. I've seen her on stage and have always had a lot of respect for her. So we spoke a lot with the playwright and the director in terms of what he was trying to do with the script and how certain actions that she takes or ways that she speaks were indicative of her as a person and what that was trying to say about her. So just meant to capture, again, her ability to transform, her ability to pierce into someone and really understand them, her love for Ruben very early on. So drew from a lot of sources, but not her in this case.
How about you with Ruben? I know he's passed on now,
Sure.
but did you do any kind of research into him personally?
Again, I talked to the handful of people that I knew him, and ended up running into more people than I maybe would have thought that did know him in addition to that. And what's interesting is, I mean, most people I would just say, can you give me a sort of snapshot of who he was? And everybody would say the same things, and it's a testament to the playwright, because truthfully, I say, well, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. In terms of how the scene plays out and how it is felt to sort of play him in the context of the scene, I'm happy to say that it always seemed to gel very nicely with what people had said. So, yeah.
Now, the dynamic of you guys, being a married couple, playing a married couple, I know you said something you shoot for and strive for, but how is it actually working together?
This is actually the first time we've done it. We both perform in Cleveland some, but we've not done anything together. I thought it was great. I mean,
utter bliss.
No.
From start to finish.
No big fights. Interesting to talk through things and a little bit more opportunity to play with some ideas because we spend time together. It was fun.
How is it directing a married couple playing a married couple? Yeah.
Well, it was very intentional. I sought them out because, well, two reasons. One, you hear Ben's voice. He has that really deep, resonating voice that Ruben had. And Emily is very elegant and beautiful and has that qualities that Dorothy has. And the fact that they were just married and were young was absolutely perfect. So I was very fortunate that they were both available to do it for us.
So you didn't just direct, you cast it as well.
Yes, yeah. Cal and I talked about it, but I just felt that these guys would be perfect and they were available, so it worked out.
Now, what was it for you about working on this particular piece that Calhoun had written?
Well, it's a couple things. Cal is one of my closest friends, and so it's always a tribute and an honor for me to work on his pieces, but I knew this was especially important to him because the Silvers are so important to him, and he's really a son to them. That's how close they've been, and so I wanted this to be a great piece for all of them, but primarily for Cal, because I knew how much it meant to him.
And being a Cleveland actor and director, I'm sure your own experiences with the Silvers.
The Silvers are heroes to me. It goes beyond theater. I saw a piece that they had written together called Yiddish, English, Yinglish, and they spoke in all three of the dialects and told their life story. And they hung out with Langston Hughes. He'd come to their parties. They went to the Soviet Union and performed secretly Jewish plays for Jewish audiences. So these people are heroes. It goes beyond the fact that they're brilliant actors, directors, teachers. So they mean a tremendous amount to me, although I did not know them as well personally as Cal did. I did meet them and see them in many, many plays, see works that they directed. So it was a very personal piece for me on multiple levels.
What does it mean to you to be a Cleveland actor and director? To be a part of this theater community in Cleveland?
They're my family. It's a family here. I love these guys. I love all the playwrights here. I love the actors. We have incredible actors here. We don't have the volume of a New York or a Chicago, but we have the quality. I'll match our actors against anybody, anywhere. Any place. I've seen theater all over the world, and I'll take our actors anytime. So it's a great honor for me as a playwright and director to work with them and to see my work come to life with Cleveland actors or directors, or to direct a piece by Cal or somebody else. So I love this place. I'm very proud of what we do here.
Same question for you guys. What's it like to be, what does it mean to you to be Cleveland actors, be a part of the theater community here?
I like that question. Well, we're both Cleveland natives for the most part, and as somebody who went to college for theater and did it full time for a few years, you know, not tremendously well necessarily, but did in fact do it. It means a lot to me because I think when people think, oh, you're an actor, you're starving, right? They don't realize that there's a large middle ground between I never do a play, but I call myself an actor, to Hollywood and movie stars. There's a big middle ground of people who do it professionally, semi-professionally, regional theaters. You can do it outside of New York, just depends on what you want to be doing. And for where I am and what I'd like to do, Cleveland is a great place to do that. And I agree with Chris, you see people elsewhere and that get lots of fanfare and you think, yeah, I understand that. You know, I'd like to be there, but I'm glad to be here too. And there's so much. There's a lot of theater. If you like theater in Cleveland, you could see 3 different shows per weekend, any weekend of the year, if you are into it. And so there's lots of opportunities, and it is a great group.
Yeah, and I mean the quality is I think remarkable for not a New York or a Chicago or some such thing. But there's also just, I mean, it's what you just said, but there's just so much of it. And I don't think people would realize it if they didn't, you know, have their attention called to it. But I mean, from top to bottom too. I mean, from all the theaters that you have going on in Playhouse Square down to, I mean, we've got actually some really terrific high-level community theaters, you know, and just in. It speaks to the community. You just have a whole lot of people that love the art of theater, and you know, want to spend their lives doing it. It's really kind of remarkable when you think about it. I mean, I'm trying to think of other things in life that that require quite that level of commitment that in many cases people will volunteer to do. You know, it's neat.
And lastly, I'll start with you, Emily.
Oh no.
What do you hope people take away from this production?
Oh boy, let's start with me. Well, I guess I'm hoping that if they watch the interview part of it, they take a look and see what's really going on, because there's so much variety, regardless of what they're interested in. It would be nice for people to pay more attention and discover maybe a love for it when they didn't know that it was out there. And in the case of this, it really is a nice tribute to these 2 people. And it's not often you work on something that has that kind of heart and soul behind it by the playwright and the director. So maybe a curiosity about them, and more importantly, a curiosity about what it was that they dedicated their lives to in this city.
Yes, you.
You know, one of the things that was passed on to us about Dorothy and Reuben, and I think it comes out in the piece, is just their love of life and people, right? And their ability to see and experience other people that were in the room with them was apparently really something. And so to have 2 people that just loved life and loved people and were present enough to really actually take another human being in it's unique in these days when where everybody's flying every which direction, or even in the acting world when you've got a lot of people that are I don't know, it's very easy to have to be self-centered, and you get kind of viewing on what you're doing and you don't see the humanity around you. And apparently the 2 of them were really able sort of transcend their own egos in that way. I don't think I'm spoiling too much to just say that it's a meeting, and it's really interesting to have two individuals who are in different ways from how I understand it, but both wired with this curiosity about the human spirit and other human beings, find another human that surprises them and excites them. And yeah.
And Chris?
I think for me, it's a very personal piece because I watched them for decades. As I watched them on stage, I saw them backstage at theaters where I was working. They happened to be there, but I didn't know anything about this point in their life. And to imagine them as two young college kids was just wonderful because I knew it was authentic because Cal is so close to them and got the real story and could tell who those people were in a way that I wouldn't have known. And so it was just very enjoyable for me to see it performed, brought to life with two of our good young actors today, and to capture that feeling of Ruben and Dorothy as young people, because I never knew them. They were probably in their 30s or 40s by the time I first saw them, and so it's just a beautiful, compassionate, loving piece about these two wonderful people.
Thank you guys so much again for being here on TV 20 with us and sharing your perspective on the play. When we return to TV 20, we're going to be with the writer of this great piece, Cornell Calhoun III. Stay tuned.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know. Come alive with the forest. The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
I'm only 17, but I know about investing. Believe in something, buy shares in it, watch it grow. So, what if you could invest in the future? The future of kids, like a stock. Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. I could be one of the first college graduates from my family. The first philanthropist from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there's a second and a third. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow. My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
Welcome back to TV 20's Arts and Culture feature for the production, The Strangest Kind of Romance Ever. I'm Leah Hasledge, and with me right now is the writer for this great, inspiring piece, Cornell Calhoun III. Welcome here. I want to call you Calhoun. I'm just going to do it.
That's okay. That's fine.
Tell us a little bit about this production right here.
Ruben and Dorothy Silver were, still are my mentors. Our relationship spans 3 decades. Ruben was my professor at Cleveland State University and took me under his wing. And most of the success that I've had in theater as an actor, as a writer, and as a director is attributed to the Silvers, both Ruben and Dorothy. I learned so much from them, not only about theater, but about life and about striving for excellence and to be the best that you can be, not only on stage, but in real life.
Now, you've written a lot of productions. What inspired you to just now do this piece?
Well, this production, this 10-minute piece was originally written for the Karamu Hall of Fame induction of Ruben and Dorothy Silver. They both worked there for years prior to my meeting them. And so they wanted a piece that represented the Silvers. And so I met with them, and they told me about how they met on the Wayne University campus, and I thought that would be just a incredible piece of information to develop and give to an audience, because a lot of people didn't know that. And then how many people have a 60-year romance from the beginning until Ruben passed last May.
Now, has Dorothy seen the production?
Dorothy has seen the production. We did an encore in 2010 at Cleveland State University as part of a benefit for the scholarship, the Ruben Silver Scholarship at Cleveland State University. So at that time, Dorothy and Ruben both saw the production.
And what did they say?
They thought it was cute. Again, you know, like I think earlier when the actors said, we didn't try to actually portray them, but we just wanted to give a sprinkling, if you can say, of a young couple and how they met and how energetic and lively and how full of life and love they were, not only with the community, but with themselves.
Now tell us about getting Christopher Johnson involved as director in casting.
Chris is a dear friend of mine, a close friend of mine. He directed The Mighty Scarabs, my piece about Cleveland East Tech basketball, twice at the Dobama in 2012, and then again the world premiere at Karamu Production in March of 2015. And I just thought Chris would be a perfect individual to direct the play. I didn't really want to direct it myself. So I entrusted it to somebody that I was close to, that also had the same feeling about the Silvers as I did. And so that's how Chris came about directing the show for the Theater Communications Group this past June.
Now, knowing Ruben and Dorothy as well as you have, do you feel like Ben and Emily embodied them?
They were incredible. The first time I saw them, I said, bam, that's Ruben, that's Dorothy. Again, Ruben is so full of energy, had a powerful voice, and Dorothy is so beautiful and elegant, and Emily and Ben both fit the descriptions of them to the letter. I don't think we could have found a better pair to portray them, and also the fact that they were newlyweds, I think also gave some more credence to the play.
Yeah, you definitely felt that spark and romance.
Mm-hmm, that spark and romance, the strangest kind of romance ever.
Yeah. Now, where did that title come from?
Originally, you know, it's funny. Originally, the play was called Once Upon a Time, Ruben and Dorothy. But in that original production that I did in 2009, but I had an opportunity to go back and talk to Dorothy because I wanted to add a little bit to the script. I think the original production was maybe 7 minutes. I wanted to turn it into at least a 10-minute production, so I could send it off for a lot of 10-minute festivals. So The Strangest Kind of The Strangest Kind of Romance Ever is actually a play that Dorothy auditioned for.
Oh, very nice. Now, being in Cleveland Community Theater for as long as you have now, what does it mean to you to be a part of the Cleveland Community Theater?
It means everything to me. I mean, theater is my life. I had to make a decision early on, either basketball or theater, because I coached for like 15 years. I coached girls and I coached boys. Lastly, coaching Glenville Tar-Blooded girls and then the Collinwood Railroader girls. Prior to that, I coached the South Flyers. So I had to make a decision because the way sports, basketball, girls basketball is now, I mean, you have to do it 24/7. So that means even in the off season, you got to get the girls, you got to go to summer leagues, you got to be in summer camps. And during the time I was coaching, I could only really do theater like maybe one show a year. And because I had the girls all the time. And if it wasn't basketball season, it was off season. We were training and conditioning, preparing for the next season, bringing in new girls and so forth. So I had to make a choice. And I finally decided that it would be theater because of my love for theater. And I hated to lose the basketball, but you know, I had to make a choice. And so theater was it.
And you are actually working in the city, for the city, with arts and culture. Tell us about that.
I'm the arts and culture coordinator for the city of Cleveland for Mayor Frank G. Jackson. My job is to bring arts and cultural events into the city, into the city hall rotunda, and also I'm involved in the parades or any kind of cultural or arts events that the mayor participates in. I oversee his Art and Everything project too.
Very nice. Well, lastly, if there's one thing you want viewers to take away from the production, what do you want it to be?
Just to always keep the spirit of Reuben and Dorothy Silver in their minds and in their hearts. I mean, there are certainly Cleveland theater legends. When Reuben passed away last year, the Playhouse Square dimmed the lights in his memory. And I can't ever, in my 40 years of theater here, I can never remember that being done. It may have been done, but I think that just speaks to the tribute and you know, how people felt about the Silvers and still feel about the Silvers. So they're dear to my heart, they always will be. And this is just a small token of you know, my love for them.
Your appreciation. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story today, your production for the Silvers, and we look forward to many more to come from you.
Thank you for having me,
Thank
and I
you.
will give you many more.
Arts and Culture in Cleveland. We'll be right back with the strangest kind of romance ever.
And I can't change, even if I try, even if I wanted to. My love, my love, my love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Love is kind. Love is patient.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise. And that number is dropping. Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese. We spend 6 hours a day in front of a screen. As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents. But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop. Learn how at active4life.ca.
Jeez, it's cold out there. Well, at least it's warm in here. Hello. I guess I'm a bit early, aren't I?
We certainly are. 1 hour and 30 minutes early, to be exact.
Is that so? That early?
I believe so, yes.
Well, better early than late, I always say. The early bird always catches
You must have a great deal of time on your hands.
Not at all, no. No, I'm working, desperately working and looking for fares. I parked my cab out in front of the theater building, my favorite spot. It's where I always park the day of auditions. Horizontal, dead center, 2 inches from the curb. Perfect.
Perfect, Tom.
Perfecto.
Quite the perfectionist, I see.
Certainly. Aren't you?
Well, I certainly hope to be today. They're auditioning for the entire Wayne University theater season this afternoon.
I know. I'm auditioning for the last of my solid gold watches. Mr. Charlie Colton, a simply marvelous role. Mortality, that was the trouble. Some people think that millions now living are never going to die. I don't think that. It's a misapprehension, not borne out by facts. We go out like flies when we come to the end of summer. And who's going to prevent it? Who's going to prevent it?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I love Tennessee Williams. Get a hold of yourself, Brick. You gotta stand up and be a man in times like this. Shake off your troubles once and for all.
Big Daddy?
That's me. Big Daddy.
Interesting. I'm auditioning for the Strangest Kind of Romance. I'm auditioning for the role of the landlady. There were times I'd hear you coming in at night. Coming in with someone. I'd hear footsteps. Extra footsteps. Light and measured the way a woman walks. I'd smile and I'd say to myself, he's found someone. He's finally found someone. I'd say, I hope she's pretty. With manners. Not like Gloria Hemmings up the street. Gloria Hemmings is not a very clean woman, and a woman's hygiene, well, that's important.
I'm impressed.
Thank you. You should be.
Romance can be strange. The first, the last, those in between. I'm looking for the sort of romance that lasts. At least 61 years.
61 years. Whew. That would be strange.
Strange, yes. But meaningful. And certainly everlasting. The strangest kind of romance. I know that play well. You'll make the perfect landlady. I'll make the perfect little man.
Little man.
Well, I came early. I'm never late for an audition.
I try not to be. Especially not with this director.
Tough, huh?
Very.
Female directors usually are.
Female directors.
Usually.
Are...
Tough.
Is that so? Is there anything else about female directors that I should know?
They're very good at what they do. Usually.
Usually. Very interesting.
Yes. Very. I'm certain I've seen you around the Wayne University campus before.
While you were driving around your yellow cab, working and desperately searching for fares.
I'm certain of it. I can never forget a lady as pretty and perfect as you.
Thank you. Well, if you're certain of it.
Oh, but I am. Perhaps it was the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy!
disappoint you. I was the Tin Woman. It was an all-female production, see. The director was also female.
Probably why I didn't get cast.
Probably.
Listen. Let me buy you a cup of coffee at the cafe in the Maccabees building. We both have some time before our audition. You can take my cab. I'll even give up my prized parking spot.
Horizontal, dead center, 2 inches from the curb.
Perfect. I can tell you about my life, learn about yours. Promise not to leave the meter running. Maybe we'll be fortunate enough to initiate the strangest kind of romance. Ever.
The kind that lasts 61 years.
I'm certain of it.
Sounds